Roll out your kite on the beach with the leading edge facing into the wind and the bridle facing up. Then place some sand on the sail just behind the leading edge. Place the pump nozzle into the valve. You'll find that when the valve is new, it'll be a little difficult to pump up. This will free itself after a few inflations. You'll start to see the wingtips rise and the kite take on its shape. Once you get the pressure quite high in the leading edge, you'll find you have to bounce on the pump to add that extra little bit. Keep pumping until it's almost impossible to put any more in with the pump supplied. Once you've inflated the leading edge, close the leading edge valve with a small Velcro seal. For the trailing edge, use exactly the same procedure as the leading edge. Put the pump into the valve and start to inflate the kite in the same way. Inflate the trailing edge until you see that tube start to take on a shape. Once you have a little pressure in the trailing edge tube, it's advisable just to check where the bladder is at the wingtips. You should feel them inside the tube. Make sure that it's right on the end. Do not open the ends of the trailing edge when the tube is fully inflated, as the tube will expand and burst outwards. If you feel the amount of pressure that's in the third to last section of the leading edge, this is the pressure that you need in the center section of the trailing edge. Keep pumping until you think you've got the same pressure in the trailing edge as you've got in the third section of the leading edge. Close the valve with a small Velcro seal. When you close the trailing edge Velcro, make sure the two toggle lines are either side of the batten. Then you're ready for the next stage, attaching the lines to the kite. The first thing to do when you're attaching your lines is to sort out the bridle. Undo the lark's head and open up the main toggle line. Take out any twists that you can see in the bridle. The front toggle has 5 lines coming from it, and the rear toggle has 3. Place these toggles on the ground with the main lines, the one with a cluster of 5 lines coming from it, to the center of the kite. So you end up with 4 toggles lying on the ground, the rear lines on the outside, and the 2 main flying lines on the inside. Take 4 pre-stretched lines of equal length and lay them out in front of the kite on the beach, with the strongest, the main lines, to the center and the rear lines to the outside. Attach the 2 main lines to the center toggles using a lark's head knot. And attach the 2 rear lines to the outer toggles using a lark's head knot. When you've done that, the next stage is to attach the lines to the bar. So now you've got your kite lying on the beach with 4 lines coming away from it to your bar. Lie your bar on the beach with the yellow side on the left. Attach the main lines to the center lines using a lark's head knot. And attach the rear lines to the second knot from the end of the rear toggles on the bar. These knots represent the angle of attack adjustment for low and higher wind speeds. Consequently, you can use this knot adjustment system to set your maximum power for any given wind speed. At the lower end of the kite's wind range, it's advisable to use the last 2 knots of this adjustment. You can move this knot system down to give you more power. Turn the bar over so the yellow is on the right and the writing is visible. Now you've got the lines crossed on the beach from the bar to the kite, and you're ready to put the kite into its launching position. Shake all the sand off the sail and turn it over. Always hold the kite by the leading edge so that the trailing edge trails off downwind. Turn the kite sideways onto the wind so that one of the wingtips is pointing into the wind, and put sand on the wingtip. Notice how the leading edge is slightly lifted by the wind. This is the perfect takeoff position. Make sure that all your bridles and your lines are free from tangles and lie them on the beach in front of the kite. This is a safe position unless, of course, you get a wind shift. You're now in the standard takeoff position, with sand on the wingtip pointing into the wind and the wind running obliquely across the kite and slightly under the leading edge, keeping it lifted. To launch the kite safely on your own, you should walk round to the off-wind position, almost looking directly at the front of the kite. As you take up the slack in the downwind wingtip, it'll start to lift, and the weight of the sand on the upwind wingtip will cause the kite to turn into an off-wind position. This is the safest method of launching on your own that we've found. If you've got a friend with you, get him to grab hold of the kite at the leading edge next to the sand and lift it into position, keeping the tension off the lines. As soon as tension's applied to the lines, the kite becomes powered up, in which case the person helping you should be standing in front of the leading edge, stopping it flying forwards. The helper then walks off-wind with the kite to launch it at the edge of the wind window. But before you do any of this, you have to put on your harness. You need the harness with the Nexus to be able to use the two-strop method. As you can see, the main lines are on a movable strop, which allows you to sheet in and out, varying the angle of attack of the kite. So you pull the bar in to increase the power and push the bar away to decrease the power. As you push out, you get less power. As you pull in, the angle of attack increases and you get more power. In effect, you're lengthening and shortening the rear lines of the kite, which move the trailing edge up and down. It moves up for less power with less angle of attack and moves down for more power with more angle of attack. This is why the setting on the bar is crucial to the performance of your kite. If the angle of attack is too big, which means your rear lines are too short, the kite will have a tendency to stall and you need to lengthen them a little.